This is the Fujinon 18-55mm zoom lens, and it's one of the best zooms you can buy for your Fujifilm cameras. This lens was released in 2012, the same year when the whole X1 system debuted. This means that it is an 11-year-old lens, yet it performs exceptionally. Its focal range equals to a 27-83mm on a full-frame system, and it has an aperture of 2.8-4, so it's not a fixed aperture lens, but it makes up for it by having optical image stabilization. The lens feels great in the hand thanks to its all-metal construction, yet it doesn't weigh too much with its 310 grams. The most important feature for me is the dedicated aperture ring, which in my opinion is essential for any lens. It makes changing the aperture so much more intuitive and comfortable. I really hate changing the aperture in the camera's menu, it takes me out of the moment and it's not comfortable. However, the aperture ring doesn't have any markings on it, and you can rotate it infinitely since the aperture isn't fixed, which makes the lens feel less analog and tactile. But I would take this unmarked ring anytime over changing the aperture in the menu. The zoom ring and the focus ring are very good as well. I especially like that you can customize the focus ring to be linear and change the direction you rotate it. The focus throw is a bit short in my opinion, but you can get used to it easily. The images taken with this lens are amazing. The lens is really sharp, renders great colors, but it isn't so perfect to make the images look characterless and boring. It has a bit of vignetting, especially zoomed all the way out, and a bit of barrel distortion, but the corrections for these are applied by default, so you can only see them in the RAW files. Personally, however, I always turn these off, because I like it if the image has personality to it and I can see what the camera actually saw. It's the same reason why I love using vintage lenses. There isn't much to say in terms of autofocus. It's quite fast and reliable, especially if you consider that it's an 11-year-old lens. For stills, I use it in spot mode, and it has never missed focus for me. For video, I usually use manual focus anyways to be completely in control. Since it's a photography lens, the focus does shift while zooming in, which isn't too desirable, but even like this, it makes a great video lens. It is a very good lens if you need something flexible for traveling, for example, or for video. I've used it a lot for street photography as well, and it's very good for that if you like to shoot in journalistic style, shooting lots of coverage in a fast pace, where you don't really have time to change lenses. Although I like prime lenses more, this lens made me realize that zooms can be just as good and just as fun to shoot with. I shot many photographs that I love with this lens, and just this alone makes it a great purchase for me.